So I want to talk about Super Mario RPG today, the original, not the remake. But the remake comes out in 2 days at time of recording, and I am super excited because Mario RPG is one of my favorite games of all time, and yet I've never talked about it. And also, I'm realizing looking at this box art that Gino and Malo are not on it. That kind of hurts, but anyway, they're on the cover of the new one, so they're rectifying that. Anyway, so let me talk about my first experience with this game. I first experienced this game as a very little kid. I rented it from Blockbuster. Remember Blockbuster? Yeah, that's where I rented a ton of games in my youth. I didn't own a ton of games in my youth. I would always like rent them because I would usually finish them in a weekend, or maybe the game was too hard or too cryptic that I couldn't finish it at all. So it was just an easy way to like play a bunch of games but never having to buy them. I actually would not own Super Mario RPG until many, many years later. Anyway, I rented it, and the way I played games back then, I just played whatever file was on there, and of course the file on there was completed. So I was basically thrown into a complete game where I could just run around and do whatever I wanted to. And the first thing I noticed is that I jumped on a Goomba, and oops, now I'm in a battle mode or something. Like I was like, what is this? Because I had no idea what RPG meant. I don't think I even had played Pokemon at this point, which is funny because Red and Blue, the original, was the first one I played, so I was there from the very beginning, but I had no idea what RPG meant. I remember as a kid, I thought RPG meant a certain graphic style because looking at the graphics, I had never seen anything like it. It's not 3D, but it's like it gives you the illusion of 3D because the way you can walk around and the way everything looks. Like I said, it was just so unique for the time for me. So I was like, okay, maybe RPG just means a certain kind of graphic style. I didn't know it stood for role playing game at the time. So I was like, okay, this is a weird. Maybe I also thought maybe it meant that it had something to do with the battle mechanics. I don't know, which it kind of does. Most RPGs do have this kind of, at the time at least, the turn-based combat. But I really thought it was more about the graphics. So I went to this battle mode and I realized, oh, Bowser is teaming up with me. What's up with that? Because at the time, I think Bowser and Gino were in the party. So I was like, oh, Bowser's here. That's cool. I don't know why he's helping me, but whatever. And who is this guy? Who is this? This jester guy. I didn't know he was a puppet at the time because I didn't play the story. So I was like, who is this jester guy? This little mage guy, you know? And then I looked at the party and I'm like, oh, Peach is here too? That's cool because the only other game that I had played that she was playable was Super Mario Brothers 2. So I'm like, okay, she's playable too. And who's this mushroom guy? I thought he was a mushroom guy, but his name was Malo. So this game blew my mind basically. So I walked around the world, and one thing I remember even back then was how great the music is. This is one of my favorite game soundtracks of all time. I'm not sure if it's my favorite, but it's definitely up there. And I'm really glad that the remake allows you to turn on the old music if you want. Though the new tracks, the remix tracks, sound really good from what little I've heard. Because I'm trying my best not to spoil myself. I mean, there's nothing to spoil for a remake, but I know some things are different, but I kind of want to be surprised. So after the initial teaser trailer and stuff, I have not checked out anything about the game, really. So, I mean, of course, some stuff were spoiled for me because, if you're on the internet, you see some stuff. But I purposely did not watch any other trailers. So I just want to experience the game. So I would go around. I found Yosto Island, which was great because I really liked Yoshi as a kid. So that was nice. I saw all these new bad guys, and of course, like I said, since I didn't play the game, I didn't know who these guys were. I didn't know who the Smithy Gang were, all that stuff. So I'm like, okay, so we have Goombas and Koopa Troopas, which if you have Bowser in your party, it's really funny. They either won't attack or they'll run away, which is a nice little detail I always found really funny. So, but then there's all these other guys. I'm like, who are these guys? What's with all this, And there's so many little things to discover. Like I found that if you go into this hotel and you stay, and you can stay more than one night, they'll actually make you repay your debt by turning you into a bellboy, which was really funny. Like there's just so many things to explore and do and stuff, even after the game is complete. So I had a lot of fun with it, but it wouldn't be till many years later that I would actually play through the game and experience the story, which is basically Mario, in typical fashion, was trying to save Peach from Bowser, but in the middle of their battle, the Smithy Gang comes down from Star Road, breaking the Star Road into 7 different stars, which you have to collect to stop this new wave of baddies. And then I played through it, experienced the story, all the characters and what they were doing, who they were, who Malo and Gino were, and why Bowser was helping and everything. And it was really fun. It's a really fun game. At the time, I remember too, as a kid at least, I didn't know how RPGs really worked, but since the game was complete, I was so over leveled and everything that nothing pose a challenge. So I went back and actually tried to like play it. I was like, oh yeah, this actually can be really challenging if you if you actually have to pay attention, because I was so used to just bowling everything over. But no, if you're not prepared for fights, you can easily get destroyed, which I did for a little while until I realized, oh wait, there's some strategy to this and all this other stuff. So it's just a really, really fun game. And I'm really excited for the remaster. I never in a million years thought that this game would get remade. I never thought there would be a remake. I never thought there would be a sequel or anything. That would be the next thing, to get a sequel, but I don't know if that's ever going to happen. That's maybe wishing too much. But I still have my original copy, by the way, of Mario RPG. Still up there in my room. I still have my Super Nintendo too. It still works amazingly. Still got my save files on there. I may actually go play it after this. You can get a little bit of a refresher. I'm not gonna play through the whole game or anything, but go on my save file. Familiarize myself with everything, and then enjoy the remake. It's amazing that this happened, and seeing the reaction online from people, it was amazing. Like I'm not one to go crazy when seeing stuff like, people on YouTube always reacting and stuff like that. But hey, I was sitting there, with a huge smile on my face, a tear in my eye, like everyone else. I wasn't yelling or screaming, but I was just enjoying it. It's just great. Love this game. And I can't wait to play it. I'll definitely talk about my feelings afterward. And that's basically my experience with that. Oh, I should probably talk a little bit about the characters and how they play, because I didn't know this at the time, but there is particular roles that they all have. Mario, he's always in your party, so he's like the all-around guy. And I always find that weird that he has to always be in your party. There are a lot of RPGs that let you switch out the main character if you want, but no, Mario always has to stay in your party. And then you have Bowser, who's basically like the tag, high damage, high defense, but low magic and magic defense. And you got Peach, who's the healer, who I always kept in my party because her group hug ability is so overpowered. It can heal the entire party and remove status ailments. Like, wow. I never died with her in my party. It's no wonder you get her last. Then Malo, of course, is the mage. He has the magic powers. Then Gino, I'm not sure what he is. I think he's kind of like a jack of all trades. Like, you can customize him. He has a lot of special attacks, but unless you really invest in special attack, his special attack is not great. But you can also invest him into having high attack and defense, like maybe a secondary Bowser or something like that. So that's kind of interesting. It was all good stuff. Like I said, I learned about strategy later on and how everything is supposed to work. And there's just a lot of little Easter eggs and all this other stuff, and just rewards exploration and all that other stuff. So yeah. Anyway, I think I said enough. The remake comes out soon. I'm excited. I'll see you all when I'm done with it, and I think I completed the original Mario RPG like 100%. Like, found all the Easter eggs, found all the secret stuff, found the secret hidden boss fight from Final Fantasy, Culex, I believe that was his name. Yeah. It was just a fun time, and I can't wait to experience it again. So let me know what you thought of Mario RPG if you played the original, and I'll see you next time.